Ladies and gentlemen, when I saw this story, I even thought about my own family, both on my mother and father's side. I've had relatives that had land stolen. That was really the whole purpose of eminent domain. It was really to take land from our people. And, these people are such scoundrels. They'll take your land, your livestock. If there's a business there, they'll steal the business, they'll steal the bank account, they steal everything. So, this story comes out of Hilton Head, South Carolina. I've been there. And, you know, there are so many of us that have relatives, not only during Reconstruction and Jim Crow, that had their land taken away. And in many cases, it was a lot of land. I know it was in my family on both my mother and father's side. The land that was stolen, it was a lot of land. So I have to shout this woman out for real for digging in for the fight to preserve her land. It's always our people that got to move. It's always our people that got to get everything taken away so a highway can be put in. It's always our people that got to give up their property for some business to be built on. This has been going on forever. This is nothing new. It's just that now they're doing it in real time so we can see how it's been all this time. And it's the usual. If we can't get the land, we'll just start harassing you and make life unbearable until you leave. That's all. Again, all historic. They've been doing this forever. So I have a lot of respect for this woman. She at least is digging in for the fight, and she has every right to do that. They're harassing a 93-year-old woman, y'all. How low down can they be? Just when you think they've reached their mud below the rock's height, they show you they got more. Grandmother, 93, fights to keep her South Carolina home that's been in her family since the Civil War after developers who harassed her to sell sue her for encroaching on their property. Okay, so a 93-year-old mother is forced to fight for her property against a developer who she believes is attempting to force her to sell her home, which has been in her family since the Civil War. Her name is Josephine Wright. She's a native of Hilton Head Island. Her family goes all the way back to slavery. That's how long she's been in this place, her family. And and see, this is what many of these people don't realize. When you sit in our faces talking about slavery was hundreds of years ago, which it was not, is actually pretty recent. There are people that still live in the towns that their forefathers were enslaved in. The family is still there generations later. And that's how it is with my family in the South. They're still in the same town they were literally slaves in. They're in the same county they were slaves in. So anyway, she's being sued by Bailey Point Investment Group for encroaching on their land and blocking their progress in developing a 147 unit complex next to her property. And like I said, whenever they want to build something, they can't go nowhere else but the black community. These are all deliberate acts, y'all, for real. So the developer made offers to buy Wright's property, but she has refused and began they start harassing this woman, slashing her tires, throwing trash onto her property, and hanging a snake from her window, she alleges. No, she ain't imagining it. This is usually what they do. They will harass you off the land. This is what they have done historically to black men and women all throughout history when they want land. And remember, they can't build anywhere except for where we live. So I guess they figure I would come so unnerved with the harassment that I would say, take it. But they don't know me. I am here to fight for what I have, Wright said. Good for her. Good for her. The property has been in the Wright's family since after the Civil War. That's a long time. That is a long time. So her husband was a Gullah Geechee Islander whose relatives were escaped slaves freed by Union soldiers. Bailey Point argued that they own part of Wright's property, which sits on, where her porch is. So they're saying even her porch belongs to the developer. Wright and her supportive neighbors say the fact that her property is 22 feet away from Bailey Point's border. I don't want to say anything that can be used against me, but I think they are greedy and they want all of the property they can get their hands on, Wright said. Yeah, they do. They do. See, as long as the taking is happening from us, yeah, you supposed to just fork it over. You're supposed to just fork it all over. So anyway, I want to keep my property and them to leave me alone, she told the press in a conference last Thursday. Wright has now instructed an attorney and Robert Vaux to fight the case. So she got a hired attorney. Good. I'm glad she does. She has also received support from former state legislator Bakari Sellers and the NAACP. Sellers initially tried to open a dialogue with the development company regarding the situation, but received no response. No, they probably think talking to you is beneath them. So, yeah, just looking at some of the pictures, look like they have already started digging up around her property where they were going to put this 147, uh, I guess, building rooms in the building. So perhaps more disrespectful than a non-answer seller said, yeah, yeah, they don't want to talk to you. They see that as a waste of time. Right situation is not unique. Absolutely. It has happened, y'all, more times than you can imagine in this country. Many other Black landowners on the island have been pressured to sell their properties over the years, according to the Island Packet. Gullah landowners, in particular, have been seen their share of the island. Uh, yeah, so they're saying they have been pressured in the Gullah Geechee community to just hand over their property. And of course, they're never going to give you what it's worth. They're going to give you the most minute amount of money for your property because, that's what slave drivers and colonizers and people like that do. They'll give you pennies on the dollar in an offer for your property. Always want something for nothing, but got the nerve to try to flip that on us. So, anyway, despite being among the first to permanently settle there after the Civil War, Sellers told reporters that there is a concerted effort to take property from Black folk in our community who have lived a great life. This is about generational wealth, it's difficult to obtain. This is about land ownership. This is about heir property, which we know we deal with a lot down here, he explains. And that's exactly why they're doing it. They don't want you to have anything to pass on. So if they decide to plop a business or highway in a certain area, then that generational wealth is gone. They're doing this on purpose, y'all. This is a deliberate act. They know what they're doing. It's something that's been going on for centuries in this country now. It's been going on forever. They're lying about a lot of stuff that we're being told. And their lies, when they come for your property, this is to benefit them. It's never to benefit the homeowner, as you can see. Chassis Graves, Wright's granddaughter, told reporters of the disruption her elderly grandmother has had to endure in the last year. Unbeknownst to us, they just started tearing down trees. Our house is shaking like an earthquake. They didn't even have the decency to let us know this was happening. Well, they don't have no respect for us. They never do. So the lawsuit is still in the discovery phase, and the Wrights family is commissioned an independent survey to see if the alleged encroachment crosses the partial boundaries. So Wright maintains that her porch has been 22 feet of space between its end and the property line. So they have set up a GoFundMe for her, and as of Saturday, there is $37,000 raised so far. I sure hope they get more than that. What I will do is I will put the GoFundMe page in the description box. So if anybody wants to come out and see, and you know what? It's up to $103,406. Hell, I guess I'll make a donation too. But, you know, y'all, this has happened so many times. And, it goes back to reparations. Reparations go so far beyond just chattel slavery. You can add this and so many other things to the list, because this was a very prevalent thing that happened not only in the South, but all up and down this East Coast, where there used to be black towns, and now you have I-95 and all of these other highways just hiding really what was there historically. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.